Hi, I am Saqib Rehan, Assistant Professor in Mount Carmel College, Bangalore. In this video, we will discuss about major historical attractions in Asian countries like Borobudur Temple, Prambanan Temple, Ubud Monkey Forest in Indonesia, and Angkor Wat, Royal Palace, and Silver Pagoda and Banteay Seri in Cambodia. We will also discuss Taj Mahal, Red Fort, Qutub Minar, Khajuraho group of monuments in India. Further, we will learn about Great Wall of China, Forbidden City, Terracotta Army, Potala Palace in China. I will expound each sites in a brief way about their history, architectural style, and importance of these sites in the tourism industry. First, First, I will talk about Borobudur Temple, which is in Indonesia. If we talk about Indonesia, Indonesia has many Buddhism religious sites which recently turned to be cultural tourism destinations. The sites are actually inheritance of Buddhist kingdoms that once existed in Indonesia in the past. So, Borobudur Temple is the biggest Buddhist temple on the earth, which is located in central Java in Indonesia. The temple was actually built by King Samarthunga from Sailendra dynasty between 760 until 830 AD. Recently becomes cultural and historical tourism object promoted by the Indonesian government. So it has become a very famous attraction for the tourists, and even this site is being promoted by the Indonesian government to a very great extent. The temple was actually the symbol of Buddhism resurgence in Indonesia. It was like a rebirth of Buddhism in Indonesia. So that is a symbol of Buddhism resurgence in Indonesia. Many people think that Buddhism went to China and Japan from India first, but that is not true. It first went into Indonesia and it was major religion in Indonesia in the past. Today the temple is used as the place of Buddha Jayanti celebration every year, and there are several other Buddhist religious events that are held in this temple every year. The amount of tourists visited Borobudur temple as a cultural and historical tourism destination increased significantly from 2019 to until recently. It received around 4 million tourists in 2013 and approximately 10 millions in 2019. The temple consists of 9 staked platforms are in square shaped and 3 are in circular shaped, and in the between there is a central dome. It is decorated with 2672 relief panels and 504 Buddha statues are there in this temple. The central dome is surrounded by 72 Buddha statues, each seated inside a perforated stupa. It has been declared as a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. The second very famous temple in Indonesia is Prambanan Temple. It is the largest and most beautiful temple complex in Indonesia. It is the masterpiece of Hindu culture of 9th century. Prambanan is the collection of massive Hindu temples built by the Mataram kingdom. They were the ruler of central Java and the defeaters of Sailendra dynasty. This temple was first built at the site around 850 century by Rakai Pikatan. It is dedicated to the three Murti of Hinduism: Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer. The complex is laid out in the form of mandala. Originally, there were around 240 temples in the complex, but many of them have been destroyed or been looted and just leaving the scattered stones now. The Prambanan temple complex consists of three zones. First, the outer zone, second, the middle zone that contains hundreds of small temples, and the third is the holiest inner zone that contains eight main temples inside it. So, there are three main temples in the third zone that are dedicated to Brahma the creator, Vishnu the preserver, and Shiva the destroyer. The Shiva temple dedicated to Shiva the destroyer is the tallest and largest structure in the Prambanan complex. It measures 47 meters tall and 34 meters wide. You can see in the picture that is in the middle. This is the tallest structure in the complex. North of Shiva temple is the Vishnu temple, which is dedicated to Vishnu the preserver. It measures 20 meters wide and 33 meters tall. South of Shiva temple is the Brahma temple dedicated to Brahma the creator. It also measures 20 meters wide and 33 meters tall. A major earthquake in the 16th century caused serious damages to the temples. Prambanan was selected as the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1991. Prambanan attracts many visitors from around the world. So it is a very famous temple in Indonesia that has been declared as a World Heritage Site in 1991, and it attracts a lot of tourists from across the world. The third very famous attraction is Ubud Monkey Forest, which is in Indonesia. So this is basically a sanctuary and a natural habitat of the Balinese long-tailed monkeys. So here you can get the long-tailed monkeys, and this site is located at Padang Tegal, which is in Ubud, Bali. There are around 1050 monkeys in this sanctuary, and this forest area is divided into six groups. The first one is the temple, the second one is forest conservation group, and the third one is central point group, and the fourth one is eastern group, fifth one is Michelin group, and the sixth one is cemeteries group. So they have divided this forest area into six different groups, and they have also divided the monkeys on the basis of their age. Like there are 63 adult male, 34 sub-adult male, 219 adult female, 29 sub-adult female, 167 young monkeys, they are between 2 to 3 years old only, 118 very young monkeys, they are between 1 to 2 years old, 63 infant old between 5 to 12 months only, and there are 56 infant. So they have divided 1050 monkeys on the basis of their age and on the basis of their gender as well. So this sacred Ubud monkey forest is a very famous tourist attraction in Ubud, which is in Bali. Every month around 10,000 to 20,000 visitors come to visit this monkey forest. The monkey forest has around 186 species of plants and trees in 12 hectares of forest area. So the area of this forest is around 12 hectares, which is around 27 acres. And there are three temples as well in this forest area. The first one is the Lem temple, the second one is the Holy Spring temple, and the third one is Prajapati temple. So they have three temples inside the forest area. The forest is basically owned by the Pedang Tegal community, and it is managed by Vana management. And the purpose of the management is to keep the place sacred because there are temples. Because of that, it is also called as sacred monkey forest. So because of that, the main purpose of the management is to keep the place sacred and promote the monkey forest as an international tourist destination. The fourth very famous attraction is Angkor Wat, which is in Cambodia. Angkor Wat is the largest single religious building in the world and one of the most visited religious sites in the world. The city where the temple was built, Angkor, is located in modern day of Cambodia and was once the capital of Khmer Empire. The meaning of Angkor Wat is city of temples. Originally built as a Hindu temple dedicated to the god Vishnu, it was converted into a Buddhist temple in the 14th century and the statues of Buddha were added to its already rich artwork. Its 65 meters tall central tower is surrounded by four smaller towers and a series of enclosure walls. Angkor Wat is surrounded by a 200 meters wide moat. So a moat is deep and it is dug and it surround the building or any fort or any castle mainly for defense purposes. So the moat in Angkor encompasses a perimeter of more than 5 kilometers. This moat is 4 meter deep as well. The third very famous attraction in Cambodia is the Royal Palace of Phnom Penh, also known as the Four Arms Grand Palace. It is located in the heart of Phnom Penh. It was built by King Norodom between 1866 to 1870. It was designed by the top architects of Cambodia and is the royal palace of the King of Cambodia. The architecture of the palace has traditional Khmer architecture and religious colors. The palace has spires that represent prosperity. The palace was originally made of wood and later converted into a cement structure, but it is maintained its original appearance as well. Traditional music performances can be seen at the exit of the palace. Most of these actors are physically handicapped people who have lost their limbs. On the spacious and clean lawn in front of the palace, every night there will be local residents, monks, and tourists from all over the world, and they will spend the night there. The entire palace is divided into two parts. The northern part is occupied by the royal family. Tourists are not allowed to visit the northern part, and the southern part that is occupied by the Silver Pagoda, and tourists are allowed to visit the Silver Pagoda. Silver Pagoda is located on the south side of the Royal Palace complex. The Silver Pagoda is the most beautiful and popular pagoda in Cambodia, not only in architecture but also in its artistic. Some people might wonder why it is called Silver Pagoda, and there is another name for Silver Pagoda, that is Golden Pagoda. So this is called Silver Pagoda as well as Golden Pagoda. Silver Pagoda is being called because the floor was made of 5,329 pieces of 1.125 kg of silver bricks, and the total weight of these bricks was around 5 tons. Because of that it is called the Silver Pagoda, because the floor is made of silver bricks. So because of that it is called Silver Pagoda. And there are like hundreds of national treasures of gold and silver in the temple, so it is also known as the Silver and Gold Pagoda. If we talk about Taj Mahal, the meaning of Taj Mahal is crown of the palace, which is a white marble mausoleum on the southern bank of river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in the year 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who ruled from 1628 to 1658. It was built to house the tomb of his favorite wife Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan himself. The construction of the Taj Mahal was essentially completed in 1643, but other works on the site continued for another 10 years. So basically, it took around 21 years to be completed. The Taj Mahal complex is believed to have been fully completed in the year 1653 at a cost estimated at that time to be around 32 million rupees, which is in 2020 would be approximately 70 billion rupees. The construction project employed around 20,000 artisans under the guidance of a board of architects who were led by the court architect to the emperor Ustad Ahmad Lahori. He was the main architect. The Taj Mahal was declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 1983 for being the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. It is regarded by many as the best example of Mughal architecture and a symbol of India's rich history. Was also declared a winner of the new Seven Wonders of the World in 2002. Taj Mahal attracts a large number of tourists every year. As per UNESCO documentary, it attracted more than 2 million tourists in 2001 and it increased to around 7 to 8 millions in 2014. And because of this Taj Mahal and few more historical sites like Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri, Buland Darwaza and so on, Uttar Pradesh is at the third place in attracting foreign tourist arrival in India. Tamil Nadu is at the first place and Maharashtra is on the second place. These are the states who are attracting a very good number of foreign tourist arrival in India. First is Tamil Nadu and second in Maharashtra and third one is Uttar Pradesh and fourth one is Delhi and fifth one is Rajasthan. So these are the state because of so many attraction they have to show to the tourists and because of that they are attracting a very good number of foreign tourists in India. There are basically two types of pricing system in Taj Mahal. For Indian citizen it was around 50 rupees in 2018 and for foreign national it was around 1100 rupees in 2018, but presently in 2019 government of India has increased the price highly for Indian tourists as well as for international tourists. The best time to visit Taj Mahal is in the cooler months of October, November and February. So this is the best time to visit the Taj Mahal, October, November and February. In order to control over tourism inside the Taj Mahal, because a huge number of tourists visit every day Taj Mahal, because of that there is a over tourism inside the Taj Mahal. Because of that the management has started fine system. Like if any tourist stays more than 3 hours inside the premises of the Taj Mahal, he will be fined for staying longer than 3 hours. Another famous historical attraction in India is Red Fort, which is a historic fort in the city of Delhi in India that was the main residence of Mughal emperors. Emperor Shah Jahan commissioned construction of the Red Fort on May 12, 1638 when he decided to shift his capital from Agra to Delhi. It is made of red sandstone and white marbles as these two were the favorite colors of Shah Jahan. It is also designed by architect Ustad Ahmad Lahori, who also constructed the Taj Mahal in Agra. The fort's massive red sandstone walls stand 23 meters in height, enclose a complex of palaces and entertainment halls, projecting balconies, baths, and indoor canals and geometrical gardens as well as an ornate mosque inside the Red Fort. Among the most famous structure of the complex are the Hall of Public Audience, that is called Diwan-e-Aam, which has 60 red sandstone pillars supporting a flat roof, and the Hall of Private Audience, that is called Diwan-e-Khas, which is smaller with a pavilion of white marbles. Red Fort was constructed between May 1639 and April 1648. So it took around 8 years, 10 months, and 25 days in the completion of the structure. On 15th August 1947, the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, raised the Indian national flag above the Lahori Gate. Every year on the Independence Day, the Prime Minister of India hosts the Indian three-color flag at the fort's main gate and delivers a nationally broadcast speech from its rampart. The fort was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 2007. The third very famous attraction in India is Qutub Minar. Qutub Minar is named after Qutubuddin Aibak, the founder of Delhi Sultanate. Qutubuddin Qutub Minar Qutub Minar's history goes back toward the end of 11th century when Qutubuddin Aibak, he was the founder of Delhi Sultanate, started its construction. Qutubuddin Aibak only started the minaret with a basement, and after that, around in 1220, Iltutmish, who was Qutubuddin Aibak's successor and son-in-law, added three more towers to the basement. Somewhere around 1360s, a lightning struck the tower and destroyed its third tower completely, and after that, Firoz Shah Tughlaq restored the tower and added two more floors. So basically, the tower is not built by only Qutbuddin Aibak. He added the basement. After that, Iltutmish, who was the son-in-law, he added three more tower, and the tower got destroyed in somewhere in 1360s. And after that, Firoz Shah Tughlaq added the two more tower. So like that. So there are basically uh, three people who have contributed in building the Qutub Minar. Qutub complex has various monuments, including like iron pillar is there inside the Qutub complex. Quwwatul Islam Mosque, which was the first mosque to be built in India, and despite being a Muslim landmark, it was built by a Hindu artisan. There is Alai Darwaza inside the Qutub complex, and even the tomb of Iltutmish and few other monuments are there inside the Qutub complex. The Qutub Minar was perceived as the symbol of the beginning of Muslim rule in India. In Till 1981, the public was allowed to visit the top of the tower. In December 1981, because of a stampede, around 50 people were killed. Failure of electricity was the main cause, and because of that, 300 to 400 people inside the tower, which led to the panic and thus create a very huge casualty inside the tower. So because of that, in 1981 it got banned. Now after that, the people are not allowed to access to the inside of the tower. They are not allowed to go inside the tower. Height of the Qutub Minar and the Taj Mahal is almost equal. The height of the Qutub Minar is 72.5 meters, while the Taj Mahal's height is 73 meters. And the Qutub Minar was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1993. The fourth very famous attraction in India is the Khajuraho group of monuments. It is a group of Hindu temples and Jain temple in Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh in India. The temples are famous for their Nagara style architectural symbolism and their erotic sculpture. Most Khajuraho temples were built between 950 AD and 1050 AD by the Chandela dynasty. Historical records note that the Khajuraho temple site had 85 temples by the 12th century, spread over an area of 20 square kilometer, but now only 25 temples have survived and which are spread an area of 6 square kilometers. The Khajuraho group of temples were built together but were dedicated to two religions, Hinduism and Jainism, suggesting a tradition of acceptance and respect for diverse religious views among Hindus and Jain in the region. The temples in Khajuraho are broadly divided into three parts: the eastern group, the southern group, and the western groups of temple. The a very famous dance festival, that is Khajuraho dance festival, which is held every year in the month of February. It features various classical Indian dances set against the backdrop of Vishwanath temples. The Khajuraho temples also offer a sound and light show every evening. The first show will be in English language and the second show will be in Hindi language, and it is held in the open lawns in the temple complex. And this site was also declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986. The first very famous attraction in China is the Great Wall of China. It is an ancient wall in China. The wall is made of cement, rocks, bricks, and powdered dirt. It was finished in the year 1878 and it was meant to protect the north of the Empire of China from the enemy attacks. It is the longest structure humans have ever built. It is about 21,196 kilometers long, 9.1 meters wide, and 15 meters tall. The earlier sections on the wall are made of compacted dirt and stone. Later in the Ming dynasty, they used bricks. There are around 7,000 watchtowers on the wall, blockhouses for soldiers, and beacons to send smoke signal in case of attacks. Total 19 walls have been built that were called the Great Wall of China. The first was built in the year 7th century BC. The most famous wall was built between 226 to 200 BC by the first emperor of Imperial China, Qin Shi Huang, during the Qin Shi dynasty. Not much of this wall remains now as people have been stealing from it. The first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, started the Qing dynasty, and there was a tribe, Xiongnu tribe, in the north of China, and they were the enemy of the emperor. The land in some part of China was very easy to cross, so Qin Shi Huang started building the Great Wall to make it more difficult for the tribe to invade China. So because of that, he made the wall so that the tribe cannot invade China. Other dynasties in China had worked more on the wall and made it longer. Like there are other dynasties like Han dynasty, Sui dynasty, and Nader dynasty, and Jin dynasty. They all repaired the wall, rebuilt it, and expanded the Great Wall. During the Ming dynasty, major rebuilding work took place. Sections of the wall were built with the bricks and stone instead of dirt and powdered. There are rumors about astronauts, like they are able to see the Great Wall from the moon, and it is not actually scientifically proven. The Great Wall has shown up in radar images taken from space, but scientists are sure that it is not at all possible for the astronaut to see the wall with a naked eye. They can see the wall with the help of some instrument, but they cannot see the Great Wall of China from the moon with naked eye. One astronaut who spoke about the visibility of Great Wall of China from the space was Neil Armstrong. He said that on the moon it was very clear that the wall was not visible. So the another very famous attraction in China is the Terracotta Army. The Terracotta Army is the buried army of Qin Shi Huang, who was an ancient Chinese emperor. These ancient sculptures were built and buried over 2000 years ago near the city of Xi'an. They were discovered in 1974 by farmers who were digging a well looking for underground water at the site. And after that onward, more than thousands of terracotta warriors and horses have been uncovered, and it is believed that there are around 6,000 more warriors and horses to remain buried still. According to the Chinese historian Sima Qian, Qin Shi Huang ordered this army to be built long before he became the Emperor of China in 221 BC. The main work started when he was king of Qin in 247 BC. They were constructed to protect him in the afterlife. Like he believed that the army which is going to be built is going to protect once he will die. He died in 210 BC. More than 7 lakhs workers were needed to build the underground city where he was buried, and the Chinese government has no plans to uncover the underground palace. The Chinese government has already uncovered more than thousands of terracotta warrior and horses, and it is also believed that there are around 6,000 more warriors and horses to be remain buried still, but the government is not having any plans to uncover them. Each terracotta warriors is made of clay. They are around 2 meters tall, with commander in the army being the tallest person. The sculptures are so detailed that it is possible to guess the age, rank and personality of each one. Like if you will see the sculptures, you can guess the age of that soldier. Even you can guess the rank of that soldier by seeing the sculptures. And even it is believed that none of the soldiers have the same face. Every soldiers have different face. So it was like very tough work to be done, and they have done it very beautifully. Some carry weapons such as daggers, bows, arrows, swords, spears, or axes. It was like a very tough work to be done, like giving everyone's different face, and by seeing the sculpture, the people who are going to see, they can judge the age, rank and the personality of each one. So basically it was excellent work done by the ancient people. The terracotta army figures were made in workshop. The head, arms, legs and torsos were created separately and then assembled. The studies shows that the 8 phase mold technique were followed that time. So they have made the clay, and the clay was added to provide individual facial feature. Once they have added the clay into the 8 phase mold system, after that they have given the facial expression to each individual person. The third very famous attraction is the Forbidden City. So the Forbidden City is also known as the Palace Museum. It is a large historical palace and an art museum in the historical center of Beijing in China. The site is also declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is very important to the history and the architecture of China. Like the Forbidden City was the palace of the Emperor of China from the Ming Dynasty to the end of Qing Dynasty. So it has played a very important role in the history of China, because it was like more than 500 years it was the home of the emperors and their houses, and as well as the ceremonial and the political center of Chinese government, and it has been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site.